Well, good morning. The day is here, our first alert weather day and our first big winter storm system of the season that we are tracking right now as we speak. That snow moving through. There's wind that's picked up as well, and that's creating some visibility problems. And in a lot of areas, we're getting accumulation now. So that's going to lead to slick roads and just tougher travel than we've seen in a while. It's been a minute since we've had to deal with a system like this, and it all falls during a busy travel week. So a lot of us driving on the roads for the first time in months that are icy or snowy, and then there's just more of us on the roads because of holiday travel. So we want everybody to be careful and informed as we head through this holiday travel time. So we're going to get right into the forecast. Again, a reminder, it is a first alert weather day. So we've got conditions that are going to be tough throughout the day. And as we take a look at our, we'll step over to the side that you can see that our weather day lasts until tomorrow morning because of the impacts of this system lingering beyond when the snow ends. So let's take a look at the latest alerts. We've got a winter storm warning in effect for our counties south and east, and almost all of the rest of us under a winter weather advisory in blue. And there are some counties not included in that. That's up along the northern part of our viewing area. If you've been watching over the last few days, we've been talking about how this is an area that is less likely to see impactful snow. Doesn't mean we won't get snow or that, it won't have some impacts or issues that you'll have to deal with up there. But it's farther south down towards Sisseton where we are looking at the heaviest snowfall, and over to the east as well. And even in the advisory area, I can't rule out seeing that 6-inch snowfall total as well. So looking at where that alert is, you can see eastern parts of Becker and Otter Tail County. We've got Hubbard County, we've got Wadena County included, the Alexandria area, down toward Wheaton and Sisseton into South Dakota as well, in that highest level alert as far as winter storm is concerned. So just a couple of details that we'll get into here. This lasts through tonight. We're looking at several inches of snow possible for a lot of areas, but not everyone. And then also the wind. That's already started to peak above 40 miles per hour at times in the valley. And it's more specific to the southern valley, again, closer to the heart of this system is where we're looking at the highest snowfall amounts. So let's take a look at some of our cameras. This is our camera down at the north part of the metro at Newman Outdoor Field, and I've zoomed in on the snow that's coming down on the stands here, on the field, on the tarp. Before it was just over some of the field where the tarp was, but now the grassy outfield is snow covered. If you look beyond, you can see the surrounding roads there have some snow on the vehicles as well. We can maybe take this full screen for you. As we're looking at conditions that are going to be, again, pretty snowy in a lot of spots. And this one, you can see that we have some snow still coming down in the view, and that's going to continue to be a factor as we make our way through the day today in that area. So that's Newman Outdoor Field. And let me just pull up another sky cam if I can. There we go, Grand Forks, East Grand Forks. On the northern bounds of the accumulating snow along Highway 2, some of us have gotten, a little bit more there. Other places have seen not much. You can see in East Grand Forks along the Greenway there, the grassy area, snow covered. Looks like we're getting some accumulation on the parking lot there as well along the Greenway, so watching that as well. So that's kind of our two main metros here in the valley. I do want to take a look at our website and show you some of our other cameras that we have here, and check in on DOT maps, DOT cams as well too. So I'm going to pull up our website right now, and you can see that we're looking at, I'm also going to pull up a seat as we go through this. We're looking at conditions that are active enough that we've got some closings and delays coming in at the top of your screen here. And I'm just going to show that to you here. So we'll click on the closings and delays, and you can see there's a few schools that are opened late, or we have early dismissal. Lidgerwood closes at 1. Dakota Prairie had a virtual learning day right now. Montpelier open late, and Sargent Central Public School early dismissal. So this is an area you can go to, especially as we continue on during the winter months, to check in on the latest conditions out there. Or latest alerts and closings and delays. And then there are a lot of alerts in effect. We won't click on that. We've already kind of gone over a lot of that. So let's go back to the main weather page. We've got my little weather blurb here talking about the discussion about the storm. You can see over here, this is one of my videos from the Valley Today this morning that you can watch for the forecast. Or you can watch what we're doing right here with the latest update. And again, here's the latest hourly forecast, the 3-day planner, that kind of thing with the radar as well. And lots of weather maps to access to. And we'll be going over some of these things here in just a moment. But what I want to talk about is, we'll take a look at some of our sky cams here to show you how things are looking. You can see the Red River Bridge. The bridge itself, we'll zoom in a little bit more. Don't think I can make this any bigger. But watching bridge decks, those are the places that tend to freeze over first. And where we get the slickest spots right now, you can see there's been some melting, and of course that road gets treated, that particular segment of road, but still that can get icy pretty quickly. And then I do want to check the Dakota Magic Casino Skycam, because this one has been looking like a snow globe. It's been pretty dramatic. We'll make a full screen view here. You could see the big flakes flying around. You can see that visibility, not terrible. We can see the flags. We can see the trees, but in the distance, the field disappears into white. We can often see I-29 there in the distance. Can't really make that out very well. And the snow is accumulating on the road. And this area in the far south, this is where I'm expecting to see some of our heaviest amounts in the valley, in the southern valley, especially south of Fargo-Moorhead. But even Fargo-Moorhead has a shot at seeing some decent snow. And in Grand Forks, another view of a camera there. This is from UND, the Department of Atmospheric Sciences. There's some flakes still flying around there, reduced visibility in that area. And then checking in on the, let's see here, Corwin cam. That one, we'll take a look at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds camera. This one also looking very wintry as we're taking a look at the fairgrounds here this morning. You can see it looks like there's some driving practice going on, some trading there in the parking lot, but visibility is very low. Normally we can see much farther beyond this. So again, in the metro, the snow is coming down. So cameras there, and then you can also access them through, we'll go back to our weather page, you can also access them through road conditions tab. So the tab right here is really, we love to point this out to you because it's great to make sure you're checking on this before you hit the road. This opens up a page where you can select from North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, even Manitoba, road conditions to the north of us. This is where you can find out, what you might be encountering as you hit the road, and especially given it's a holiday travel week here, really important to be keeping an eye out for that. So let's take a look. This is the North Dakota DOT map, and you can see that we've got a lot of purple and yellow on the map. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look at the legend. Yellow means ice or compacted snow. Purple means snow-covered roads. So Devil's Lake, Highway 2, and where it's broken up like this, that means it's patchy or scattered. And so Highway 2, really the area, and then points south where we're being most impacted. If you're up by Langdon, the Cavalier area, you're less likely being impacted by the snowy weather. And again, that coincides with our alerts that we have in effect. And so we also have, you see the counties that are outlined or shaded in purple here? That's where a travel alert is in effect as well. So that's important to be aware of too, that we are dealing with conditions that we are getting travel alerts for here. I'm going to go back, and I wonder if we can click on one of these to get the details on the travel alert. Blowing snow. So looking at slippery roads, snow-covered roads, icy roads. So you can do this when you, again, click through the DOT sites around the valley. And the cameras here that you can also turn on cameras right there, and then you can check on conditions. In Jamestown, I know we've had some snowy conditions here. You can see, ooh, that camera shot is iced over, and the I-94 not looking too pleasant there. We are also looking at several shots in Jamestown. Up by Devil's Lake, you can see the lake in the distance there, and some snow on the roads along Devil's Lake and wet spots too. And then in Fargo-Moorhead, let's take a look at road conditions around the FM area. This is 19th Avenue North. You can see on the bridge deck, I was just talking about that, how on the bridge deck there's some icy, more snowy conditions. Just beyond that, there is some snow on the road, but not as much. Again, that's because colder air can get under the bridge deck and allow the concrete and all of the apparatus to freeze, whereas concrete that's on ground that's still warm, it makes it easier or less easy for the surface to freeze over and prevents accumulation as much, causes melting. Thanks for bearing with me. We've been doing this since 4:30 this morning. Okay, so again, looking at DOT cams, we are seeing definitely some impactful conditions. Taking a look at, some of those areas I was just talking about, Langdon, doesn't look bad at all. So missing out or lucking out on this one, depending on how you look at it. So let's go back. We're going to go back to, oh boy, there we go. I thought I might have to click back a lot. We're back to the valleynewslive.com page and then Minnesota road conditions. And it's letting us know that it's not private. Let's see, maybe we'll go back. Why don't I go to the North Dakota one, and maybe this will open it up a little bit easier for Minnesota. There we go. We are looking at starting to see some impacts on the roads as well. Let's turn on the legend. And where we'll scroll down to the color shaded areas. And blue means partially covered roads. It doesn't get into as much detail as North Dakota does, but could be ice, could be slush, could be snow on some of these roadways along Highway 2 here from East Grand Forks to Bagley. More areas down along Highway 10 from Moorhead to Detroit Lakes, also east of Detroit Lakes on Highway 34. And reporting light slush on the roadway, you can hover over them and get more details. Light slush again on Highway 10. Looking at some of our cameras, I could turn on our camera layer. You can also select if you have your weather alerts set to. Those will pop up when a camera is indicating there's some kind of weather going on. You can click on that and that'll open up camera shots for you as well. You can see that we've got some snowy roads over by Beltrami in the Highway 9 corridor, East Grand Forks. It doesn't look as tough here, but we do have some snow on the grassy surfaces. Let's go farther east toward Lake Itasca, snow coming down. And it looks like the road itself is, at least that segment of road, is still on the wet side. And Highway 75. This is in the Kent area in the Southern Valley. You can see tire tracks as that truck is going down the road there, and some ice on the camera shot as well. So these are all things you can access right by going to the Valley News Live weather page again. You can also check South Dakota and again Manitoba as well, and I won't go too far into that here. So let's go back to our web page. So that's road conditions, and then of course you can check the weather cams, see where the snow is falling. Even going back on our camera page, check out Bismarck. Is it still snowing there? And looks like it is, or at least we've got some low visibility in Bismarck. Minot. Looks like we have still a few lingering flakes in Minot as well, as we've been picking up some snow. Okay, so let's go back to going over our forecast, going through our weather graphics as well. I'm going to pull up that East Grand Forks camera here really quick while I move our chair out of the way. And we're going to update you on our forecast. Let's see here. There we go. And, one thing I want to pass along too is if you have any questions, I'm checking our live feed here. I'm happy to answer them for you too. We'll do that at the end of this Facebook Live, or if you're watching us on another outlet through Valley News Now or on YouTube, head to our Facebook page, and that's where I'll be checking for questions and answering them for you as well. Okay, so let's get into what we're dealing with here. So we've got some snow again up along the Red River in Grand Forks. Here's another view of just overview of the DOT graphics. I almost tripped there. You can see that we've got conditions that are both tough in North Dakota and starting to get a little tougher in Minnesota. And we've simplified the coloring here for both states so they're the same. So blue and pink means patchy snow and ice, or snow covered or ice covered. So again, it's been more active in North Dakota there. Let's move ahead to our radar now. This is a live shot of our radar, the latest scan. And this matches up with what we've been talking about. The heavier snow in the southern part of the valley, get up to Highway 2, it's more scattered. And then north of there, it's even lighter, or we're not seeing snow at all. So again, northern along the international border, that area is going to have much lower totals than what we're seeing in the south, and it won't last as long for you as well if you see snow. So let's expand the view and put this into motion. Large system here. Here's some good news. We're seeing that clearing line. It was toward Dickinson earlier this morning. It's just slowly moving eastward, and even the clouds are clearing out toward the North Dakota-Montana state line. And so this eventually moves eastward with some of the heavier snow amounts, again, right into northeastern South Dakota, right along the state line. And then there are some bands here that are setting up in central parts of our viewing area too. One other thing that's been happening, you can see some rain over toward Grant County, over toward Douglas County. Some of us saw this start as rain. The air is warmer in this area, so we've been above freezing. But eventually the colder air is taking over, so you'll see this transition to snow if you're in this area. Okay, so that's the latest radar. Here's a look at some of our impacts. Visibility, very low in a lot of spots. We're down to a quarter mile in Wahpeton, Gwinner, Valley City. Fargo's at a half mile. Jamestown at a half mile, so is Fosston as well. So a lot of places below a mile. Grand Forks is at, rounding up here to 0.8 from 3/4 of a mile, or yes, 3/4 of a mile, sorry guys, there. And so just under a mile for you too. So the snow is really bringing down visibility for anybody hitting the road. And the factor in the wind as well, that's picked up. We've got a gust of 41 miles per hour now in Jamestown. So seeing those gusts pick up even before noon today in some places in southeastern North Dakota. And this is the area, southeastern North Dakota, northeast South Dakota, where we're going to see some of our strongest winds closer to the heart of this system. Meanwhile, over in Bemidji, we're sitting pretty right now. Not too windy. We haven't seen much of the precip move in yet. Eventually it will, and it will be last to depart your area. So keep that in mind as you're going about your day today and making your plans. So right now, again, we've been seeing the snow. The wind is picking up here at Newman Outdoor Field in North Fargo. Looking at our reports coming in, you can see each location has reported some snow in its latest update. And notice these temperatures really close to freezing. So that's been, again, a factor in areas where we've had melting. So we've gotten the moisture, and we talked about this yesterday, that there would be some initial melting going on, which kind of cuts into your snowfall totals a lot of times in these warmer events, early season and late season events. And then on top of that, there's compaction that happens with the heavy wet snow too. But we are looking at those temperatures slipping below freezing. Fargo's now at 31. It's 30 in Grand Forks. We're in the upper 20s out west in Jamestown and in Devil's Lake. So that will lock in freezing temperatures for those areas a little bit longer. And I'm seeing something coming in that I want to check out here just really quick. Make sure I'm not missing an update. I'll pull up our full screen view of our forecast here for today while I check this out. And you can see that temperatures, again, not warming up at all. They'll be heading southward as we go through the day today. So watching for that. And yes, we did get an update here. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to go back a few slides here because I want to show you our alerts, because we are getting in some new alerts. And that is something we want to make sure we alert you to, first alert you to with our name here. So it looks like the National Weather Service has added some counties, and thank you for bearing with me as we do this. The way this is set up, we can't really go anywhere, but we can't jump around to our graphics. Here we go. Okay, so here's what I am seeing. We've got some new winter storm warnings here, now including places just south of Fargo. So I was just talking about that, how our heaviest snowfall would probably be south of that I-94 corridor. And while we're getting some decent snow there, the heavier snow, that 6+ range, is more likely in these counties here. And we now have more communities and counties added to the winter storm warning in red. So I'm going to just go through each one of these so you know your county's a part of it. We've got Lemoore, Dickey County, and we have Ransom, Sargent, Richland County. Those are the ones added in North Dakota. Cass has not been added, just so you know, and neither has Clay. In Minnesota, the counties that have been added include western Otter Tail. It was eastern Otter Tail before. Now the whole county is under a winter storm warning. The Wilkin County area, Traverse County area, also under a winter storm warning now. And Grant, I believe, was not, or maybe if we weren't, we are now under a winter storm warning. And then, of course, our counties in South Dakota that are also under the warning. Looks like they added a couple more a little farther south. So that's new from the National Weather Service, that we've gotten some new warnings here. I'm going to just kind of look at the language associated with these warnings, just so we've got the latest and we know what we're working with here. Okay, so this has been issued for those southern counties until 9 o'clock. And we are looking at the potential for more than 6 inches of snow, as you would expect with the winter storm warning in these areas with wind gusts. We've been seeing this as high as 45 miles per hour. And so you combine those two things, and that leads to slippery road conditions. It leads to hazardous travel as far as visibility is concerned as we head into midday and into the evening commute for tonight. So here we go. We're adding more alerts here to the winter forecast. And I'm going to pull that up full screen again for you so you can check that out. Again, looking at the heaviest snowfall occurring in those areas in the far south. And, you know, I was pointing out our camera at the Dakota Magic Casino there that was looking really, you know, dramatic, and it's still looking that way. I'll pull that up for you here as we move ahead. But just, again, keep in mind there are some North Dakota counties in southeastern North Dakota now included in the winter storm warning. Now we'll pull up that camera so you can see the snow globe that's happening there. And while that's going on, I'll advance us back to where we left off before those alerts started coming out about the new warnings that have been added here. So again, it's a snowy one. It's one of those situations where, you know, if you don't need to hit the road, if you don't need to travel, maybe avoid it if you can here for today and let the worst of this pass. It is going to get better as we head into tomorrow. And, you know, even as driving late at night with snow is not a great experience, but the snow will be tapering off tonight. But we are dealing with wind at that point as well. So again, something to kind of think about as you're making your travel plans here for today. So we are looking at gusts that are getting into the 40s now, and the wind and visibility coming down to near zero in some locations in the valley, or at least less than a mile. Okay, so I'm going to bring back up, this is our hour-by-hour planner, and we will start talking about what we can expect through the rest of the system here. So looking at, again, Highway 2 points south, really being the area of greatest potential and concentration for potential snow. And then I-94 and south, the heaviest snowfall will likely be. And so that amount drops off from south to north. And so we'll continue to track this out for you here as we continue on through the morning. This is the noon hour. When we start getting into these white colors on the map, that's the model. And the way we have our settings, our color contour setting set, indicating that we've got some very heavy snowfall rates happening when we start to see that kind of coloring showing up on the map here. So you can see right in that area where we have our winter storm warning that's now in effect. And then continuing on into 3 o'clock, we're seeing heavy snow in west central Minnesota. Still getting snow in southeastern North Dakota, so getting out of school. Students will be stepping out into, you know, maybe a few inches of snow on the ground as they are getting out of school in some of these areas, maybe even more than that, again, in some of those heaviest spots. And still ongoing in places like Devil's Lake, there might be a couple of isolated snow showers, but it's not the steady accumulating snow. Grand Forks on the edge of things there as well. And then moving on into drive time, 5, 6 o'clock tonight. Fargo now on the edge of the snow band. And then we're looking, and we need to keep in mind this is, you know, a model simulation, it's a computer simulation, so it's not going to be perfect. It may move out a little sooner than that, may move out a little later than that, but this gives you an idea that we'll be seeing snow still ongoing in Lakes Country, Minnesota, and parts of southeastern North Dakota, but it'll be starting to taper off at that point. And then continuing on into the evening, the snow continues to roll eastward until we get into the late night hours tonight. This is about 11 o'clock, and a lot of us are seeing this ending for us. The wind is still going, though, so keep that in mind. And as we are moving on overnight, there's still some pockets, still some isolated areas that we might have some isolated snow showers, but overall it really is coming down. And by Wednesday morning, mainly the snow is done. We still have some wind. We still have snowy and icy roads, and that's why our first alert weather day lasts into the morning commute on Wednesday morning, just to kind of give you that heads up that it's not going to be perfect. Far from it, in a lot of places, especially in the south, on Wednesday morning. And so, or if you're hitting the road to head to your holiday spots. So let's take a look at what we can expect for wind here today. This is our wind gust planner, so the numbers on this map, those are your gusts. So we're already seeing up by Jamestown, over toward Ellendale and Lisbon, we've been seeing gusts into the 40s. And so this wind field will shift eastward with the system. And so Southern Valley, again, that's the area where we're watching for the greatest wind. And unfortunately, I did not put pause points in this, so it's just zipping right through. I'll go back and we'll run it again here once we get into that time frame. The wind does ease up as we head into Thanksgiving Day, but it will be breezy on Wednesday. So let's go back, and we'll skip back ahead to our wind gust planner. And just watch as those 40s, that field of 40s, shifts eastward as we head into midday, into the afternoon, and tonight. So this is going to be where our worst winds are. If you're in the northern valley, it's more 20s to about 30 miles per hour in those areas too, which is going to be impactful as well, but just more intense as we are looking at the southern valley. So let's zip through. You can see those 40s drifting through Fargo into Lakes Country, Alexandria, and then moving on Wednesday morning, 20s to low 30s, and then it starts to quiet down. Sorry we didn't get those pause points in there for you here. But the bottom line is the Southern Valley definitely going to be windy. And when we factor in that there's a decent amount of snow going on in the south, visibility, even some drifting. I know it's kind of a heavy, wet snow, but if you get enough accumulation and it's not all kind of stuck together, there may be some spots where we get some light blowing snow or a little drifting with that. Even the snow that's already, again, on the ground. Looking at additional snowfall through Wednesday morning, again, this is from this point until Wednesday morning or through Wednesday morning. You can see areas up north with nothing or maybe up to a dusting. Grand Forks might be in that 1-inch range. And then this is, again, in addition to what we've seen so far. And then, more 1 to 3 inches in Middle Valley, Highway 200 corridor down toward I-94. And then from there on, that 3 to 6 and then 6+ potential is definitely down in that south central part of the valley and then east. The reason you don't see much out to the west is because the snow has already fallen there and it's moving on. We've gotten some decent snow in the western part of North Dakota as well. And then, we'll build in that snow east too. So no matter where you go in the region, there is the potential for running into snowy roads. Where it's going to be less likely is, again, up along the international line here, but heading down to Minneapolis, heading down to Sioux Falls, and then west where the snow has already fallen, you're going to be running into some of this. So again, looking at snowfall, that is going to be impactful here for today, heading into tomorrow. Wednesday will be quieter. We'll still have that breeze though, but it does give us a chance to clean up. It won't melt really because we are, the ground's still pretty warm, so there might be a little bit of melting going on once the snow ends, but temperatures, the air temperature, are going to be below freezing. So a lot of this is just hanging around. And then once we head into Thursday, into Turkey Day, we're looking at some drier weather, partly cloudy skies, temperatures into the 20s, maybe some of us even into the upper teens on Thanksgiving Day, or at least it'll feel like that if we factor in a little bit of wind. And so Thursday, Thanksgiving, we get our break, and then it's right back into our next system. I'm going to go over it really quickly here. I know we've been on for a while, and our focus right now is on today's round. But heading into Thanksgiving night and into Friday morning, Black Friday stuff going on. I think it's going to be pretty quiet here for us in the valley. It's not until we get into Friday evening that we'll need to really watch out. So I'm going to zip ahead. This is 3 p.m. on Friday. You can see some snow trying to drift in. This system, similar, but a little farther south. And so we're looking at lesser chances for snow in the northern half of the valley, southern half of the valley, still watching out for snow. Friday, this is 9 p.m. You can see southeastern North Dakota, the I-94 corridor really, and points south being that area of focus on Friday. And if you got to travel, again, down I-29 or down I-94, heading into Saturday morning, that's where the snow is more likely to be. And that moves on, that widespread area of snow, but you can see there might be some pockets of some light snow passing through as colder air rushes in behind this one. So this is going to be kind of the reinforcing shot of cold air coming our way in the wake of this system. So 2 rounds. First alert weather days today and to tomorrow morning for the winter storm we have hitting us right now. And then we get a break on Thanksgiving Day. We're cooling down. Heading into Friday and Saturday, Friday night, especially the second half of the day, Friday and into Saturday, watching out for that chance for snow, especially in the Southern Valley. And temperatures begin their slide even further down into some teens. And so Sunday, the last day of November, Monday, the first day of December, that transition is going to be a cold one with high temperatures in the teens, single-digit lows. Some of us may even be below zero some of these days heading into the following week and into December here. So it's going to feel like winter on those first few days of meteorological winter, that's for sure. And it's definitely looking like it right now. It is dramatically snowy in some areas at the moment. And again, a reminder, we did just get that first alert, it is a first alert weather day. We did just get that winter storm warning issued for us here as we've been watching out for the updates coming in from the National Weather Service. So certainly experiencing an upgrade in conditions. It's looking snowy. I'm going to pull up our SkyCam in Fargo. Looking snowy in Fargo, and I'm just going to see if we can pull up our, there we go. We're going to pull up our winter's latest alerts again because this is the newest update. Winter storm warning now in effect for parts of southeastern North Dakota. It includes places like Wahpeton, Breckenridge, back over to Lisbon and Edgeley and Allendale, Gwinner. Those areas in southeastern North Dakota now included in that winter storm warning for the potential for more than 6 inches of snow. And then into west central Minnesota, Fergus Falls, now part of the winter storm warning. Places like Elbow Lake included in that as well, in addition to the locations that were already under that winter storm warning. So here we are dealing with some wintry weather in a very busy travel week and day. Just some reminders, want to make sure you're taking it easy out on the roads. Let people know if you are going to be traveling. Let people know your plan, where you expect to be traveling, when you expect to get there, the route you're taking. So if you run into some trouble along the way, people know where to look for you, where to send help. And make sure that you have your winter survival kit in your car, that full tank of gas, all those things. It's good to remember and be reminded of this, especially early on in the season as we are getting ready to travel in some of our first snow of the season. So I hope you guys have a great Tuesday, aside from, having to venture out into some winter weather. And we'll continue to keep you updated right here. We've got our afternoon crew coming in to bring you an update on the latest conditions. You can, in the meantime, check road conditions right on our website that I just showed you, right on the VNL weather app as well. Great tool to stay up to date and to get alerts wherever you're going. I've talked about this, and I actually have a video on my Facebook page about how to get alerts as you're going down the road. So you can set it to follow you. So as you're driving, say you're driving down to Minneapolis, and you can set it to alert you, wherever you happen to be. So if there's an alert in St. Cloud as you're driving through, you'll get that alert coming through, so you know what you're dealing with, no matter where you're going and wherever you happen to be. And so make sure you're downloading the app and you're using the latest version of the app as well to stay up to date. So again, we'll continue to keep you updated throughout the day today. We will have updates tonight and into tomorrow morning. I'm off the rest of the week, so you'll have Summer tomorrow morning, keeping you up to date on conditions as we head toward the Thanksgiving holiday. And just be safe as you're traveling out there here in the coming days. So we've got long winter ahead of us, and this is just the start of it. It is looking Christmassy and pretty out there, but at the same time, that can be hazardous for us too. I'm going to pull up our SkyCam down at the Dakota Magic Casino again so you can kind of take a look at what we're dealing with. And I see a plow that is working on the parking lot there, trying to keep up with the snow that's coming down. So you can always access these SkyCams as well right on our valleynewslive.com weather page throughout this event. So have a great Tuesday, have a safe Tuesday, safe travels, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And we'll be back here again later today with the First Alert Storm Team keeping you up to date throughout this event.